Hello, my wonderful, amazing artists. It's me, Miss Abby, your art teacher, and I'm here to wish you a happy Black Lives Matter at School Week. I cannot wait to see how you all grow and learn through this amazing week at school. Oh my, this is such an amazing thing that we get to do together. It's gonna make all of us stronger and even better change makers and more empowered and inspired. We are gonna take part in making the world a better, kinder, and fairer place, and more inclusive and less racist. For Black Lives Matter at School Week, I drew inspiration from a lot of different things, including our lovely Black is a Rainbow Colored book, and some of my other civil rights history inspiration, and contemporary Black Lives Matter activism to come up with a project inspired by the artist Lorraine O'Grady. So Lorraine O'Grady is an African-American artist who uses a lot of photography among other artistic mediums to create her artwork. And one project that I think really is related to our work in Black Lives Matter at School Week is her project Art Is. For her Art Is project, she set up a photo shoot in a parade in New York City's Harlem neighborhood. That's the historically Black neighborhood of New York. She directed the performers holding the gold frames to say, "Make me art," and made these amazing images that are framing everyday life within Harlem at this really special, amazing parade that made lots of people really happy and took over the city with Black pride. And the frames, they look familiar, huh? The frames remind me a lot of frames that wrap around artwork in Boston's Museum of Fine Arts. When you wrap something in a gold, ornate, special frame, you're kind of saying this is important, special, and powerful, and it's a work of art. And that's what Lorraine O'Grady did with her Art Is photography series. She put frames up to things that she felt were important and works of art. But they weren't kings and queens or presidents in history. They were everyday moments of celebrating African American pride within her city. And we're gonna get inspired by that to create our own frame for Black Lives Matter at School Week. Everyone at school is an activist. An activist is someone who stands up for what's right, who uses their voice and to use their privilege and their perspectives to make the world a kinder and fairer place. Sometimes people do that by creating speeches like Dr. Martin Luther King, or by singing songs, or by making art. For example, I brought this sign to a protest for Black Lives Matter over the summer, and I saw all kinds of art at the protest. I saw painted signs like the one I made. I heard amazing music that was getting people pumped up and inspired and feeling brave and powerful. I noticed people dancing. I heard people playing drums. And I saw people that were using their artistic writing skills or creative writing skills to write amazing speeches and songs. The arts, whether it be performing arts like theater and music, or visual arts like painting and drawing and fashion and photography, or creative writing, are all essential tools and ingredients in protest and in activism. Step one. First, we're going to create a a frame. A frame is kind of like a rectangle, right? And for that, we need some scissors, maybe the help of a grown-up, some glue or tape, and either some cardboard, like some recycled cardboard boxes, or some paper. This project is all about resourcefulness, so I'm going to use what I have, you're going to use what you have. Also, notice, there are two types of cardboard boxes. This crackers box, which has some crackers in it, is one layer of cardboard. And you can probably cut it with a scissor like this with not a lot of effort. This box that my cat's food came in is 3 layers. You have 2 straight line layers, and then in between this is a zigzag. Now this might be a little harder to cut. So now that we have all our supplies, let's build a frame. My cardboard frame is all dry and it's looking a little bland. This doesn't say Black Lives Matter at school celebration to me or remind me of Lorraine O'Grady at all. So next you're gonna decorate. You can use collage and cut up paper and glue and scissors, marker, oil pastels. You know, these guys, they show up amazing on cardboard. But I think I'm gonna paint mine. You can decorate this however you want. And what's amazing is that everyone's is gonna look different and interesting. For painting, I've got this squeeze tube of acrylic paint. The first thing you gotta do with your paint is you have to look and see what type it is so you know what you're dealing with. This is acrylic, that means it doesn't wash off your clothes. So I'm wearing an apron and I'm gonna roll up my sleeves and work very carefully. This is an art table, but if you don't have an art table at home, lay out some newspaper or some old paper from the recycling bin. I have a palette, but if you've got a paper plate, that works really well too. Or even an old piece of paper from your recycling bin, that works great too. And a paintbrush. When you're done painting, please wash your brush with soap and water, because if you don't, the brush gets really crusty and it's not as fun to paint with anymore. I painted my entire frame. Now I'm gonna let it dry and then I'm gonna decorate and add some collage elements to it. Okay, so my frame is looking real fancy, but it doesn't quite say Black Lives Matter at School Week yet. I'm gonna use my collage skills to add different elements. I'm gonna add some writing and some pictures and cut out some paper. So the next step, now that you have the base done, I wanna add elements of Black Lives Matter at School Week. You can use markers and crayons, watercolors, oil pastels, again, great on cardboard. You can cut out and use collage, you know, glue and scissors and fun bits of paper. All about. I'm gonna get a lot of my inspiration from black as a rainbow color, because I really like its messaging around getting inspired by the past to imagine a better future for Black people. And I also love rainbows. Ta-da! Here's my frame inspired by Lorraine O'Grady and what we're learning about in Black Lives Matter at School Week. Where I wrote Black Lives Matter, I put a heart because of love and care and kindness tried to draw some music notes. I wrote on this side, it says protect Black childhood. As a teacher, I think it's important that my students get to be kids and they get to be silly and enjoy their laughs and try really hard not to replicate any racist systems within my class and be imaginative innovators, because childhood and the imagination you do in childhood really does set you up for your future. So I did that. This is a picture of Marsha P. Johnson. And it's because of Marsha P. Johnson that we have a pride parade and that neighborhoods fill with rainbow flags every June. And I tried to draw a portrait of her. I think you may have seen I had to use my color matching trick with a scrap paper to figure out quite the right color. Rainbow flag on the bottom, of course. Black is a rainbow color. I said Black families matter. I wrote the future. Black artists matter. History, because history is important. And then I have this crown that's inspired by Jean-Michel Basquiat, who's one of my favorite Black artists and was really instrumental in bringing the kind of street art style that his African-American peers were doing into the art gallery setting. And then I put the quote from Janelle Monáe, which reminds me a lot of Black Lives Matter at school, which says, even if it makes others uncomfortable, I will love who I am. I owe a lot of gratitude towards Black activists for making America a fairer, kinder place. Black Lives Matter. Have fun making art. Bye, everyone.